On today's episode, we will be talking about finished objects, a new cast on, as well as a new spin. Hey everyone, I'm Marina and this is Pineapple Knits. This is my channel dedicated to knitting, spinning, and weaving. You can connect with me on social media at Pineapple Yarn, and you can connect with me on my website at pineappleYarn.com. Thank you so much for joining me again this week, and if this is your first time joining me, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I'm coming to you today from coastal South Carolina. It has been so chilly here. We have had such mild spring weather, and I woke up this morning, it was 48 degrees. I couldn't even believe it. But it's been kind of nice because I've been able to wear some knits a little longer than I normally get to. But all this mild, cool weather has really extended allergy season for a lot of us. And my voice is a little raspy, it's a little gravelly, so please bear with me with my voice. Hopefully it will get back to normal soon. Well, the big news for this week is that I finished my Good Vibes shawl. This was an amazing knit. I really enjoyed it so much. The pattern is called Good Vibes. It's by Nadia, Crétin, Léchenne, and it is fabulous. I really cannot tell you how much I've absolutely loved it. And so let me take it off and share it with you. This shawl is such a wonderful size. It's large, but it's not too large. It's actually really great size. And I'm just going to move it along because I can't get it all in the shot. But it is so fun. It was a great knit. All of this section is I Heart Beach Glass, which is one of my colorways, and I believe it's available in the shop right now. But this is mostly garter stitch with some really cute eyelet increases. And then all of this beautiful scallop section is a very simple lace pattern, and in between each section you have little waves of the contrasting yarn. This pink is called Pink Hibiscus. It's also one of my colorways, and I just really loved combining a variegated colorway as well as a tonal in this, because the tonal helps accentuate the lace pattern, I think, and I love these two colors together. So let me give you a close-up. I didn't make very many modifications on this shawl. The only modifications I made is that I went down a needle size, which is not surprising to those of you who've been following me for a while. I'm a loose knitter, so I don't want to say always. There's been a couple of projects where I haven't gone down a needle size, but it's very common. And so I went down a needle size, and then also this was my error and I just kind of went with it. In between each section, this little garter stitch wave row is supposed to be double the width. And so these are kind of thinner than called for in the pattern. And I had already done I did two sections and then had only made this a narrow stripe. And I just went with it because I didn't want to take out a whole section. So somehow it all worked out, and it's just so pretty. It's a really great, just a great size. It's not too big, it's not too small. I think it'd be really versatile for different heights and different body types and sizes. Yeah, I really liked this this project. I loved the bind off at the end. I mean, it just all in all, it was super good. So I'm happy that it's done though to move on to other projects, but I'm very excited to wear it. Before I leave this project, I do want to say that this was fingering weight yarn, and I used a skein of each color. I would say I have about 25% of each color left. I haven't weighed it to double check, but I would say that's about right. And so this would be a great project if you wanted to use some yarn from your stash as well. So after I got done with this project, of course I had to cast a new project on, and I wanted to use all of my leftover little tiny cakes from my 2020 Advent Calendar. So I'll show you what I have left here. These are the little tiny cakes that I have left from my Advent Calendar. I did a weaving project, and I did 2 weaving projects. And so I have about 8 to 10 grams of each color. And I wanted to show you how I label each color. I don't know how you organize the leftovers from your Advent calendars, but I actually just put a piece of masking tape with the number on it, and I have so much masking tape around here because it's how I label all of my dye stock, and I also label leftovers in my refrigerator with masking tape. So I figured, why not label my leftover minis as well? But I decided, because I did have a total of about, I want to say about 240-ish grams when I weighed this, I knew approximately the yardage that I had left. And so I actually plugged that into the Ravelry Advanced Search, which is the best way to search when you have a specific amount of yarn to use. And I came up with some patterns, and I decided to go with the Dianthus Shawl. I believe that's how you pronounce it. The Dianthus Shawl by Amber O'Brien. And I just love her pattern so much, so I was really excited to cast this on. But this is what I have so far. And so I began with day 1 over here. And I am on, what day am I on? I'm on day 10, and this is what it looks like so far. So it's a really interesting shaped shawl. Here it is. I know that looks so strange, but I'm going to show you how cool this is. This has a series of decreases right there. And so it's going to go the length of the shawl to make this really interesting kind of spine all the way up the shawl. And it is just the neatest asymmetrical shaped shawl. And you know what's really neat about this is that even with all the increases, the decreases balance out the increases. So you never have, I think you have 160 stitches on the needles during this section. So this is the longest section. And then it does go down to a decreased point at the very end. So yeah, this is just really, really fun so far. I've been doing, I think I knit about 1 color or 1 day of my Advent calendar, I would say every 2 days. That's kind of what I'm averaging right now. And I am using a US size 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter. That's also what I knit this shawl on. And so I did go down a needle size, and it's working out great. But I just love this fade. So I'm getting into some deeper blues now, aqua, and then into yellow, and then a super pale yellow at the end. So this is going to be so beautiful when it's done. I'm just really loving this project right now. And I think it'll take me definitely the next several weeks to finish this, but so far so good. It's just really, really wonderful. So yeah, that will be it. So when I finish this shawl, I'll have no more of my vitamin C advent calendar, which I set aside for myself, which is a little bittersweet because it was so much fun to knit with and to weave with, and it was such a great gradient. I really love it. But, you know, the good thing is that I will have this year's advent calendar, which is also a gradient. And as soon as I dye some of those up, I'm definitely going to take one for myself and work on it. I'm so excited. So that is my current knitting project. And I also started a new spinning project, which it's been several months since I last spun. I kind of went on a spinning kick at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and I was getting really into like technical spinning and keeping good records. Honestly, I think I got a little burnout. Some of you probably saw that coming. So I just decided to grab some fiber that I loved and start spinning and not really worry about the details. And it's been so much fun. So this is my current spin. This is a fiber that I think I have one in the shop. It's called Purple Passionflower. And oh goodness, look at my fingernails. My glove broke and I have dye on my fingernails. But this is a really pretty purple and kind of olive green blend. It's on Polwarth. And Polwarth is just one of my favorites, definitely. So I do have these little nests of fiber that I'm working with. So how I prepped this fiber is I folded the length of fiber in half and divided it in the middle. And so I had two shorter sections. And then on one of the halves, I stripped it into 4 pieces. And so that's what these little nests are. And so far I have spun 1. And it's just a really beautiful blend of olive greens and darker greens and bright greens and then these purples. I'm really excited to see how all of the purples and greens kind of come together in the ply. This will be a 2-ply. Hopefully I'll get some nice barber pulling because y'all know I love barber pulling. But Polwarth is such a great fiber to work with because it's a fine fiber, and so it can make it a little tricky to spin, but it can be spun without a lot of twist or with a lot of twist. It's just depending on your desired effect and your desired use. I just think that's so neat. But anyway, this is my current spin. I think the whorl, I'm using the fastest whorl on my Kromski Minstrel. And I cannot remember what that is off the top of my head. Maybe a 12-to-1. I can't remember for sure, but I'll put it in the description below. And I think what I'm going to do, kind of my goal, is to spin one of these every day, just to keep up some kind of consistency. I usually get really excited about projects and I dive in and I do a lot of it and then I kind of get burnt out. So really working towards consistency on this. But I really love just the purples and the green together. I think those are a really nice contrast. And I would love to use this in a shawl eventually. I just think it's really, really pretty. So anyway, that's what I started spinning. And then speaking of spinning, I actually want to share something really exciting with you. So a little while back, I heard about the electric eel wheel. And for those of you who do spin, you've probably heard of the electric eel nano, which was a little tiny spinning wheel, an e-spinner. And then they came out they had a Kickstarter actually with a larger e-spinner. And I missed the Kickstarter and I was so disappointed about it because I really wanted to help fund it. But I missed out, so it wasn't a big deal. I just kind of moved on. And then I was watching Felicia from Sweet Georgia, and she has a really great vlog on YouTube, and so I always try to catch her episodes. And so recently she was just talking about this same e-spinner. So I went to their website and they have them in stock right now. The Kickstarter was successful and they have them in stock. And so I purchased one. I was so excited. But the neat thing about these are they're actually a really affordable e-spinner. Some of the other e-spinners out there are as much, or if not more, than a traditional spinning wheel. And they're obviously beautiful pieces of equipment that you can use for the rest of your life. The cost is worth it if you're going to have a tool that will last you your whole life. For me, I'm just not really sure if I am going to use an e-spinner that much, though I think I will, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I purchased it and it's on my way to me. I'm so excited. So I'd love to hear if you have any personal experience with this e-spinner. Leave me a comment below and I would love to hear about it. And also if you're in the market for an affordable e-spinner, I'll put a link below where I purchased mine and you might be interested in checking it out. So my son, who is 3, he just turned 3, he loves anything with wheels and he loves my spinning wheel so much. He loves playing with it, and as he's gotten older, he's just become stronger, I guess. And after I've had 2 bobbins broken, I've definitely had spins go awry because he's taken it and run all over the house with it. I've just decided that I need to be a little more careful with the wheel itself because bobbins can be replaced, but it's a beautiful wheel and I don't want it to get damaged. And it's a Kromski Minstrel. It's just been a really great wheel for the past several years for me. And so that's when I really started to look at e-spinners seriously, because I would love to be able to spin around my family, but I don't want to leave my spinning wheel out with little kids, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's what I am going to, I'm looking forward so much to receiving it, and I will share it with you when I do receive it. I'll share my thoughts about it and how it's working out, but I'm really excited to try it out. It's going to be so much fun. Well, that's really all I have for you today. I did forget to mention this sweater right here is the Coastal Pullover, and I talked about it on my last episode. So great. I love it so much. And it is on a yarn that I don't carry in stock in the shop, but I do accept custom orders for it. It's a beautiful worsted 2-ply merino and baby alpaca, and so it's very, very soft and warm, and this is in the colorway Coral Conch, one of my favorite colors. And I'm also wearing these earrings. I've got to show you a close-up. So my daughter made me these for Mother's Day. She's funny, she's 14, and she's just really, really into polymer clay right now. And so she makes earrings and jewelry, and she is going to eventually open up her own store. And it's just so funny. So I'll be sharing with you in the future some of her creations, because she is gifting earrings now, and of course I want to wear them, and so I'm sure you will see many more types of earrings on my ears in future episodes. But last week, I'm sorry I missed you. I had fully planned on recording, but my husband had purchased a package of bees for our hive, and we had always wanted to get into bees and always been really interested in it. But because we had moved quite a bit, we weren't able to get into bees. And then we just weren't sure. We're just so busy right now. We just weren't sure if this year was the right year. But we decided to do it because why not? Why not? The package of bees was supposed to come a day after I recorded, and it came a day early. I just didn't have time to record. I had to take care of the bees, and they're just wonderful. I couldn't even believe how gentle they were. We tend to get hornets and different other stinging insects, and they were nothing like this. They were just so gentle, and we have enjoyed working with them so much so far, and it's just really exciting. So hopefully they will stay strong and keep going, keep pollinating, and we may add to them in the future. We're not really sure. But so far, it's just been so fun for our family to get to know all about bees. But I am sorry that I missed recording last week. But that's really all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked this episode, I'd love if you'd give it a thumbs up. And hopefully I'll be with you next week for another episode. But until then, I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.